Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Lebanon Redevelopment Commission. We will begin the meeting as we do with each meeting and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Madam Clerk, if you can note, we are all present this evening. I see no old business on our agenda, so we'll move directly into approval of minutes, question mark? Nope.
Missy's, isn't she doing the presentation?
Minute. Right, no, minutes is what I meant.
Wow, we're done?
Yes, yes. Missy, it went that well.
We approve the minutes as presented?
We've got a motion
no
to
minutes.
not approve any minutes. Whew. Don't worry, we'll catch up. We nailed it. Moving on to new business then. New business, we have one item on the agenda, which is a presentation from our friends at the Heart of Lebanon and Missy Krulik.
Hello, Commissioners. It's nice to be back in front of you this year. Just kind of wanted to come and give an update on what kind of impact we made in the downtown this past year, and of course do our funding request for 2025. So first we'll start our impact in 2024. First of all, we had 35 programs and events that were held throughout 2024. We had 38,000 plus in attendance that engaged with these events. Our top attended events was Mischief on Meridian, which thanks to the city, we have this great data collecting source that told us that we had 7,700 cell phone users in the downtown during our event. So since that's a kids event, you can think maybe 8 years and up had a cell phone. All the little ones that were having the candy didn't. So that was a huge event. So, and then we were also able to engage 61 businesses for that event. Christmas on the Square, we had 5,020 cell phone users during that event. And then Total Eclipse in the Heart, which was a once in my lifetime event, 3,400 cell phone users. So we had a pretty good showing at our large events this year. And then
That was just downtown, right?
that's just in our district, yes. And then we also, through our work, support local nonprofits. We are able to give 31 area nonprofits a free platform at our events. So we like to invite other nonprofits to be a part of our events. So. And then also all events are free and affordable to ensure that it's a community-wide participation. Economic vitality and downtown growth. We're here to help strengthening Lebanon's economy. We had 11 new businesses come into our downtown last year, 4 building sales, which is driving investment. 16 buildings underwent interior improvements. We activated a long-time vacant storefront, as you can see there, the Heart of Lebanon office. That was a vacant storefront for about 8 years. So we were able to activate that space into our office, and significant renovations on the inside to be able to do that. So, and then also we increased collaboration among downtown businesses, which fostered a stronger local economy. So by increasing the foot traffic and engagement, we help to create an environment where property owners saw value and invested in their buildings. And then we also, that foot traffic helped to new investors to have confidence in purchasing buildings. So. Placemaking and public art. I hope you all have got a chance to go through Alley Oop. We created that alley this year. It was a fun construction project that we undertook. So we spent a total of $106,809 on that project. And we transformed a downtown space into a vibrant community asset. So we also launched our yearly art exhibit featuring local artists and organizations through a bicycle-themed art installation. So hopefully you got to see that downtown as well. And then, as always, we provide those public restrooms in the trailhead. And then we also undertook a project to seal coat the East Alley that's in between the craft room and the ballet alley. So the Heart of Lebanon paid to have that seal coated this past year as part of an ongoing project to also revitalize that alley as well. City partnership and advocacy. We're supporting downtown development and policy. We created and approved a downtown event application, which you all approved last year, to ensure streamlining process for all event organizers. And we led the designated outdoor refreshment area and ordinance enforcement, which we're still working on, but we conducted a lot of research. We engaged with other communities and business leaders to understand the impact and implementation. So we've been doing a lot of legwork this past year on the DORA, just to see if it's something that would fit well in the community. We've also expanded awareness and community engagement. We have a total of 16,000 social media followers that engage in downtown content. So we're always pushing content out there on the downtown and why it's so amazing. And then we reached nearly 500,000 through social media, which is promoting positive developments in the downtown. So we're reaching people and just engaging them and telling them how great downtown Lebanon is and the Lebanon community. We've increased city and organizational collaboration. For the past year, I've been hosting monthly collaboration meetings with the city and the EDC that focuses on business attraction, business development, and downtown maintenance. We've actively participated in citywide collaboration efforts, including the 180 in Color program, which you'll see a mural come downtown this year because of that program. And then I've also participated in the Indiana Arts Commission's Creative Convergence Group, which you'll see the story booth come out this year as well. So that's an asset to the community. Our unique funding model, Main Street organizations, just so everyone knows, we're not a membership-based organization. We're not like a chamber. We can't charge membership dues for financial support. We want to ensure that our events are for the community, that they're free and low-cost events, and that they're accessible by everyone. So generally any ticket revenue that we get from an event goes into providing that event, the cost of the event. And then we have no dedicated tax funding or endowment. Like some other organizations, we are not guaranteed public funding or foundation support through taxes, like a heads and beds tax or anything like that. And we have a limited emotional appeal for donations. While many nonprofits pull at heartstrings, our mission focuses on placemaking and economic growth, making fundraising a little bit more challenging. Our financial support comes from community partners, collaboration with local businesses and stakeholders, public and private funding, engaging with city entities and private investors, and then grant funding, securing external financial support with initiatives. The challenges ahead. Last year, we did secure 4 grants in 2024 to support our efforts. But unfortunately, this year we're losing a major grant contributor due to the discontinuation of their event grant funding. So we'll be losing that money this year, and we've used it several years in the past that helps us with our events. Why we need your support to continue offering high-quality, accessible events. We need it to support local businesses and nonprofits through increased foot traffic and to enhance the vibrancy of downtown Lebanon. Looking ahead, sustaining and growing our impact. Continued investment will strengthen downtown as a cultural and economic hub. Funding will allow us to expand placemaking efforts, attract new businesses, and enhance community engagement through the addition of another full-time staff member that focuses on event coordination. Our work directly supports the city's goals for economic development, tourism, and quality of life. So that's kind of my presentation. Just wanted to know if you had any questions about any of that.
Any questions from the commissioners?
Great work. Love to see what's going on down there, downtown. It's cool.
Absolutely. Obviously, I wear a different hat in the ring as well, so I do serve as president of the Heart of Lebanon, so I will be abstaining from any votes this evening. But I will tell you, I think we're truly at a bit of another turning point in our downtown. We have a lot of folks looking to invest in our downtown, which is absolutely amazing. But as we look forward, we've got to make sure that we're maintaining that historic preservation, which is very, very important to the organization, as well as making it welcoming, inviting for all. Which is huge as you look at our constituents for this commission out in the TIF district, including downtown TIF district. So incredibly excited about what is going on down there and the continued growth. I do believe we were all given a handout here with just a couple of items to review, including some downtown business owners, some of their comments of support for the Heart of Lebanon, as well as board members, and a little bit of financial data as well. Do we want to?
Pass it over
do you-
to Denise.
Denise, do you want to speak on that a little bit? So if you turn to page 4 of the handout we received.
Well, you have a copy in front of, oh, perfect. Thank you for switching that. That's magical. Okay. So I have, my name is Denise Niblick, and I'm the Vice President for Heart of Lebanon. I am a massive fan of Lebanon in general, and I really just wanted to speak because I feel like Missy usually does this ask by herself, and Corey's very supportive for it, but I think it's important that you hear from other people who are involved. I don't know if you saw the volunteer hours, but 1,000 hours of volunteers is no small feat. People truly believe in the historic downtown, and I also think that we have really created a space for collaboration and partnerships. And for anyone who sees on social media, you can see that come alive by seeing businesses share other businesses, even their direct competition. They share each other's events. They're sharing about what Heart of Lebanon does in the downtown. And I know that you like numbers, but I had to say a little bit of the heartfelt stuff too. You do have copies of those letters that you can review. One thing that I'm gonna just explain to you is some businesses really took a lot of time to sit with me and go over some of the actual financials of why we want to support events as well to continue. This is from Patrick Clues, who took the time to show. I've put it together to show you the weekends that we did not have events in Heart of Lebanon versus the weekends we did. And you can see in May and July, August, obviously very significant increases in the sales that they had and foot traffic because of those events. That's a pretty direct correlation for those. You have a copy of that as well. And this is just to show you a little bit about the Boone County Cake Company. I think it's important to share they're actually not right on the square, but they have made a huge impact to our community and absolutely wonderful owners. They have shared data and explained to me how important some of the strolls that we do. The strolls are more of a daytime event rather than those live music evening events. And they have seen a 25% gross sales increase from the weekend before based on the weekend of of those events. So you can see that comparison to those two. That's November and February. Those months are not necessarily like crazy big months. We obviously love to support businesses year-round. Winter can be a really tough time for small businesses. So I wanted to share that. There's also a letter from the owner, John, in your packet. The thing I will point out, hopefully you're not done with me talking quite yet, one part of John's letter I want to read. When my wife and I first opened Boone County Cake Company, Heart of Lebanon was one of the few organizations that actively supported us and took the time to understand our needs and provide meaningful resources for our business. While we've worked incredibly hard to earn and retain the trust and loyalty of our customers, continuing to acquire new customers from within and outside of Lebanon has been a constant challenge. The events organized by Heart of Lebanon have resulted in increased sales, but also a steady stream of new customers from across the greater Indianapolis area. That's a really big deal that we're drawing in customers for these events from outside of Lebanon even. And then the last thing I'm going to leave you with is a little bit of what I had to say. I'm not going to go too off the cuff because I don't want to give Corey a panic attack. But I think that when you talk about an organization like this, you're talking about somebody who's a catalyst in our community. There has to be somebody who's encouraging communication, who's driving classes to educate people, to bring that togetherness and support. And I think that is 100% what Heart of Lebanon does for our community. And if you don't have somebody in a position like that, then you're not going to see that type of collaboration and communication happening between all these different businesses and building owners. There's a lot of different stakeholders in these situations because you have people who are renting the businesses, the building owners, and to have such a wealth of knowledge from Missy and now Sarah, who's been brought on board, it's incredible. So I'm extremely thankful for that. And while I understand that Development Commission is not all about feelings and memories created, you can't have long-term economic growth without connection. And for that connection, there has to be the catalyst, which I do believe is the Heart of Lebanon. I understand this is not a small amount of money to ask, but this is incredible work that we're doing in our community, and it's an organization that will create longevity, economic growth, placemaking, collaboration, and most importantly, for me, the reason that we chose to be in Lebanon, that we've stayed in Lebanon, is that connection, because I really, truly believe in every person that's involved with our downtown. So thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Denise. So as Missy joins us back at the podium there, obviously this is the annual request for funding. Before we get into the specifics of that, any questions from the commissioners? Perfect. So Missy, I believe the funding request, if you'll remind me.
Yeah, the board has asked that I ask for $100,000 for the Heart of Lebanon this year.
So if you recall, that's up slightly from the previous year. However, a lot of these items that have been taken on by the Heart of Lebanon are beneficial not only to the folks in our district, but as well as the city as a whole. So that's kind of my piece I'll say on that. Any questions, comments? Yeah, last year the funding was $75,000. So this year's ask would be $100,000. The year prior to that was $58,000. One of the other questions that has been asked in the past is private investment to go along with the Redevelopment Commission. I will say that the private investment has gone up pretty heftily, bearing in mind that a chunk of that went to Alley-Oop. So it's not directly into the operations of the organization itself, but within that specific project. So. The budget was not submitted.
I'm sorry. How much assistance do you get from these communications from the city, from Joe, from his side? Do you get any assistance?
No, I get no monetary assistance from the city whatsoever.
Is there cooperation between the two of you working together in any events whatsoever?
Yeah, on our board. He's the city liaison on our board. As far as cooperation on events, yeah, we help with city events. Joe volunteers, of course, with the Heart of Lebanon at our events. So like Savor Lebanon, which is a city event, we've been asked to provide volunteers for that. But we get no,
Financial assistance.
financial assistance
Okay.
from.
So what is your overall annual budget, I guess, for the year? How do you plan for, try to do the things you want to do? I think you do a great job, okay?
Yeah,
I'm
each
just
year we
asking
set
questions.
out our budget, our operating budget. We break it down into economic vitality costs. So we don't just throw events. We do other things. We break it down into design. Like I said last year, we seal coated the alley, the ballet alley. So that was just an extra cost. We're always trying to do things that increase the design aesthetics. We put bollards along Key Bank. I just wrote a grant to try to get flowers for downtown. So I'm always trying to get money to help with the design aesthetics.
So I know we have the chamber and so forth, and so I'm assuming you get some donations from the some downtown businesses a little bit, or some help, assistance somewhere?
Chamber, we're a member of the chamber, so we get chamber benefits with that. They're more of connecting businesses with businesses. And we utilize those resources as much as we can, and we try to connect our businesses to those resources as well. We're dealing with small businesses in the downtown who are trying to survive. They'll give us a gift card whenever they can. They'll give a special incentive for somebody who comes to our event. But as far as monetary donations, it's not a high dollar amount because they're trying to survive and grow their business as well.
I will say a lot of the partnership with the downtown businesses is more of the sweat equity piece. So they're the ones that are out there alongside of us as we're setting up events and planning for those sorts of things, even coming up with unique ideas to I say cross-pollinate. So how can business A assist with business B? So there's a lot of cross-pollination there. I will say from a private perspective, we've had a lot of gains in business park folks. So, those larger employers out in our business park see a lot of value in these placemaking items that we're doing. And it has made a pretty big impact on helping them retain employees. So that has been a big win for the organization. And of course, there's new partners in the community through the LEAP district that have been very beneficial for the Heart as well. Mayor, you got.
Yeah, I just want to comment really quickly. I think the Heart of Lebanon, frankly, has been a hugely impactful organization just for our community. And obviously, there's a partnership between the Redevelopment Commission and the Heart of Lebanon just because of, obviously, the downtown is a TIF district, and that's why this request comes to you guys. But I kind of want to zoom out a little bit. Missy does a great job talking about what we do in the downtown, but just what the downtown does for all of Lebanon, having an active, thriving downtown. Frankly, when I talk to companies, right, when we talk about what's happening in the LEAP district, those companies do bring up our downtown, right? When they come into town, they come to and visit our downtown restaurants and see and feel the vibe, so to speak. And that makes an impact because, we can talk dollars and cents, incentives, things like that, so you're blue in the face. But at the end of the day, a lot of these companies are looking to locate places where they can find people. And that dynamic has changed, certainly in the last, I'd say, decade and a half, that it is about where is the workforce available. And the way we can attract workforce is having a high quality of life. And so that directly ties to why we need to have an active and thriving downtown. Missy highlighted the number of new businesses we've had in the downtown. Just if you get in the time machine with me and think back 10 years ago where our downtown was. And I think we frankly have seen a complete transformation. The conversations I'm having on a weekly, I had one weekly and monthly basis. I had one this morning about more investment, new redevelopment of places now off the square, right? Because we've done such a great job on the downtown square. There's interest that people want to be near that, but obviously then everything's ever up for sale, right? So they're trying to think of how do I get close to this giant magnet here. This is the downtown Lebanon. So obviously it's a hand in glove situation, right? There's lots of initiatives that you guys support, certainly from the school training standpoint too. But this is a critical kind of missing piece that really the city can't, the city, we're not the experts of doing this, right? The Heart of Lebanon fills a really important niche, I think, for the city to help be part of that quality of place, quality of development. They have all the certifications. They're Indiana Main Street certified, nationally recognized, and all these things. Implementing these best practices and frankly helping us fill something that the city's not great at doing, but helps fill that role. People that are passionate about the downtown, that are passionate about what this means for all of our community, because we all. When I was talking about doing the downtown, and when I was first running for mayor, right? The downtown's everybody's neighborhood, right? It touches everybody. And I would tell you, we are seeing the ripples out of the investment the RDC and the city made in downtown, and we're seeing those impacts, right? And so I just want to just strongly urge you guys to consider this request and frankly, continue this great momentum we have downtown, because you can have the prettiest place in the world, right? But if it's not filled with people that love it, or it's not activated, it's not gonna make a difference, right? So you gotta have both the aesthetics, design, the space to make it inviting, but then you also need to have the people that are participating and activating it. So I think that's a critical partnership we have, and just wanna support the Heart of Lebanon, what they're all doing. So happy to answer your questions too, if the board has any.
I just think it's natural progression too, as we grow, as these events grow, the monetary need is going to continue to grow too. So I mean, it's to continue to draw, and it will gain more as well, though.
Inflation impacts everybody, right?
Correct.
Just like everybody's been dealing with inflation costs, right? Missy deals with inflation costs on her events too, right? So I do think, for a long time we we're stuck at a point, but obviously bringing Missy on as a full-time executive director has just frankly taken this to another level, and I think she does a phenomenal job with the budget she has, right? I mean, I think if there's a better person that knows how to stretch a dollar, I don't know if it's the Missy Krulik, so I'll give her a lot of credit with that. But yeah, you're right. And frankly, what the community wants from the Heart of Lebanon is growing too, right? I think people are seeing, I know Missy gets questions like, why don't we have an event this weekend? It's like, we had 50 last year. Like, so I'm sorry, like we've had a weekend off, So I do think there is demand from the community, and frankly, people are starting to see, this is developed now, where it is kind of part of just the social aspect of this is, let's go see downtown and see what's happening, right? And usually there is something, but not every weekend, right? And so certainly there is demand for this, and frankly, Missy could talk about the increased food and beverage tax. I know that's not what the RDC gets, but certainly the city council benefits from increased food and beverage collections that we get on the other side, right? So I know it's all kind of one big umbrella, but we're all in this rowboat together, so to speak. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion. We're good to go?
Unless there's other comments, I would entertain it. Yes.
Good comments. Thank you very much. Missy, thank you. Denise, thank you. I think I'd asked last year for a budget as well, so I would really emphasize that's important. You're asking us to provide basically a little over 30% increase. And so a budget is just prudent for us. If somebody were to come to me and say, how come you funded this? Why did RDC fund? Having said that, I also reviewed the letters that were provided, and I heard the mayor's comments. I think they're woefully short-sighted. The mayor referenced the square 10 years ago. A letter referenced the square in 2018. Let me tell you what the square was like in 1995 when I first moved here. It is woefully misrepresenting this community. Missy, I want to compliment you and your organization, and Denise. I recently read an article in the Star that talked about the declining population in rural and small towns around Indiana. Although it listed Boone County, it did not list Lebanon. But I will tell you that what has happened and transitioned to our square, but I will say our community, through leadership and through effort, is not only transformational, but significant. The work you do goes beyond hosting events. It goes beyond passing out candy or making basketball alleyways. As a 30-year member of Lebanon, who originally was only going to be here 2 years, I see the work that's being done as significant. I would make a suggestion. We stop referring it to a historic downtown. We should call this an attractive downtown, a destination downtown. Historic downtown sounds like we're leaning on the past, and you are not leaning on the past. So I want the record to show that I say this is a future, forward-thinking initiative. And for us to fund a 32.7% increase, while some would say that's a lot of money, I will tell you that it's money that's well invested, well spent, and the ROI on what the Heart of Lebanon does far exceeds, in my opinion, as one commissioner on the RDC, the investment that we make. The mayor referenced city funding. I can tell you without question, funding for cities and towns and schools is going to be significantly impacted in this year's state budget. Not a political statement, it's just the reality. So as the RDC, if we can help assist in some of those areas, I believe that is what we've been called to do. And some would disagree, but I say that's what we've done. I will tell you that this RDC puts more back into the community than 90% of the other RDCs in the state of Indiana. The TIF dollars that come this way, in many cases, are simply sat on and not utilized. I say that as a member of this community, but I also say that as a fairly knowledgeable individual that spends some time downtown. So again, my compliments to you. If my biggest complaint is you didn't give me a budget, we can work through that. That's just the old superintendent in me saying I'd like to see what we're spending our money on. But I cannot compliment you enough, nor can I encourage my commissioners, my fellow commissioners, to support this request and to keep doing the work you're doing, not for historic downtown Lebanon, but for a very futuristic, attractive Lebanon that's going to keep Lebanon as a viable community, not a declining or dying community. It is economic development, but in reality, we're attracting individuals to our community. So again, my thanks and compliment for the work you do. Denise, my compliment for the work you do in support. Fellow commissioners, I appreciate your consideration of this request as we move forward.
You want to make the motion? Made it. Do we have other comments?
Other comment?
I'll make the motion to support the Heart of Lebanon with $100,000 in 2025.
We have a motion and a second. Again, I am abstaining from the vote, but all those in favor, please signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. Thank you very much, Missy.
Thank
Thank you so much, commissioners. And I want to tell you, I travel all over the state and I talk to so many Main Street organizations. And I was just at a tourism conference in Fort Wayne, and Lebanon is getting noticed. And our downtown is getting noticed. And I think that's from the work that you support and the work that we do as the Heart of Lebanon and the work that the city's doing. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Could I ask next year for a budget? Thank you.
Write that down, Denise. All right. That is the only agenda item we have up. So I would entertain a motion on the claims.
Make a motion to approve claims.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. And most popular of the evening,
Make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye.
Aye.
We are, all those opposed, same sign. No one opposed. We are now adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.